welcome to Season 3, Episode 46 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in ECW history with match number 5 on our list, which is the one-on-one contest between Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck from the Big Ass Extreme Bash 1996 event held on March the 9th, 1996. This match is the match that I feel is probably the most underrated match in ECW history. Not that it doesn't, get some acclaim. I mean, it's a well-known match, but I feel that it is so good and it's not really appreciated for just how good it is. This match is incredible. Visually, it's kind of a weird match. Cactus Jack has like a bandage on his face. I'm not sure what that's from. Mikey Whipwreck's wearing a neck brace, so it kind of looks a little weird. This match was Cactus Jack's farewell match to ECW as he was on his way to the WWF to become Mankind. So talked about this a little bit in the Cactus and Shane Douglas match from SummerSlam 96. Where, Cactus had been doing his anti-hardcore stuff well aligned with Raven. Had been begging Eric Bischoff to take him back to WCW, had signed with the WWF. Shane Douglas had to kind of pull the hardcore back out of Cactus in their match at SummerSlam. So in here, Cactus Jack is his classic brawling, hardcore style Cactus Jack. But this match is a very personal grudge. So Cactus took Mikey under his wing. They were tag team champions in 94. I've talked about that. At the end of 95, they became tag team champions once again. Cactus ended up turning on Mikey when they lost the belts. Mikey interjected himself at the end of the SummerSlam match and hit a chair shot to Cactus's head while he was in a figure four from Douglas that ultimately led to him being pinned by the figure four. So we have this big grudge coming into this. Cactus is on his way to WWF. He's been established as the heel throughout all of this, but weirdly, the crowd, gives it the Bizarro Land kind of reaction. Where Cactus gets a standing ovation. He's treated like a god to them, despite the fact that he's leaving to go to the WWF, which normally the ECW crowd, kind of craps on anybody that's leaving them. And they boo Mikey Whipwreck, who is the underdog, the face in this match. Despite all of that, though, they do still work this match with Mikey being, a bit of the underdog, and it is just incredible. It is stiff. It is brutal. It's got an excellent story. It is, in my opinion, one of the, I don't want to say top 10, but it maybe squeaks in there performances of Mick Foley's entire career. He is so good here. He is so giving to Mikey Whipwreck. And this is undoubtedly the best match of Mikey Whipwreck's career by far, in my opinion. So really early on, Cactus misses some chair shots. Mikey sells the neck right from the initial lockup. He kind of gets thrown on the neck, on the collar and elbow, and grabs at that neck. Foley is really stiff with punches and forearms and hits the running knee in the corner more vicious than he ever has before. We get a bit of a brawl on the floor, and Cactus is so good here, trying to turn the crowd against him, even though it's not really working. Fans are handing him, terrible kind of weapons. That he's just kind of throwing away these things that the fans are handing to him rather than use them. But he does it in a kind of funny way, so the crowd, enjoys that as well too. Some of the bumps that we get here are just insane. Mikey hits the Cactus clothesline early, which I really liked. He's learned that from, being under the wing of Cactus. He whips, Cactus takes his bump sometimes where he kind of gets thrown backward into the guardrail or into the ring steps and kind of hits the back of his head off of it. They do that into the guardrail. Mikey hits a belly-to-back suplex on the concrete floor. He hits a Russian leg sweep on a chair. All of these really brutal moves. And then Mick just returns him in kind. Mikey goes for a head scissors, and Foley just dumps him over the ropes brutally onto the timekeeper's table, and it doesn't break. So then Foley proceeds to hit a backdrop driver to Mikey into the table, which still doesn't break. He does the classic, Cactus Jack elbow, but instead of doing it off the apron, he does it off the second rope, which, we didn't see a lot of that, in this era or post this era from Mick. So he busts it out here, that big Cactus Jack staple. Mikey hits a somersault into the crowd. Cactus returns that by hitting the Cactus clothesline over the guardrail. And Cactus really starts to go to work on the neck of Mikey. He uses the mandible claw to set up a pile driver. So, you know, no Mr. Socko or anything like that. Early Mankind is what we're about to see. So I believe that was the first instance where he used that move, and ironically enough, it would go on to be his finisher in the WWF. He rips the neck brace off Mikey. He gets a 2 off the double arm DDT, and he just goes to work. He's relentless on that neck. He hits like a neck breaker over the rails. He goes for a pile driver on the floor. But then he makes a pivotal mistake where he goes for this just wild move that, you know, like the coffin drop that Darby Allin does. He basically does that, but springboarding off the middle rope like he was going to do an acai moonsault, but into the guardrail. I don't know what Foley was thinking. I think it was a variation of, you know, his classic like Nesty plunge that he used to take off the ring apron, but just elevated off the second rope. It was wild. It was brutal. It was reckless. It was amazing. So he takes that. And Mikey just proceeds to start unloading with just disgusting chair shots, you know, in that callback to SummerSlam. At this point, Foley proceeds to try to bail through the crowd. He's had enough of the match. Mikey gives chase and ends up hitting a dive off the Eagle's Nest onto him. When we eventually get back into the ring, Mikey makes the critical mistake. He goes for a dive off the top. Foley just hammers him with a brutal forearm as he's coming down, proceeds to unload on him with a bunch of chair shots, getting his revenge for earlier in the match, as well as SummerSlam, and finally puts Mikey away with a pile driver on the chair for 3. This match kind of felt like it should have been, you know, Mikey's win, but just him going toe-to-toe, you know, with the great Cactus Jack. And in hindsight, it kind of works that Cactus won just with how the crowd reactions were going. You know, if Mikey got that big win, it should have been celebrated, but the crowd would have booed given that they were on the you know, side of Cactus Jack for this one. So, you know, that minor gripe aside, it actually all kind of worked in the grand scheme of things. The post-match here is so good, though. Cactus shows Mikey that respect, raises his hand, cuts a great passionate promo, putting over the fans, putting over the roster, and just, you know, if you might be aware of how Cactus made his farewell to ECW, but he does this great moment in his promo where he talks about how he's going to bring out the 2 men, that without them, there is no ECW. They're the backbone of the company. You're led to believe that it's going to be Paul Heyman and Todd Gordon that he brings out, but instead he brings out the Blue Meanie and Stevie Richards, and they proceed to strut out of the ECW arena, which was Cactus Jack's wish. This match, though, it is so good. It has, you know, Foley's not a very big guy in the grand scheme of things, right? But here, he just wrestles like that brutal monster, and Mikey is the ultimate underdog, and it's got almost that big little David Goliath feel, with, you know, Mikey fighting back. It's absolutely disgustingly brutal, this match. It's really stiff, and like I said, it's a real true hidden gem, because I know people talk about this match. It was on the Mick Foley's Greatest Hits and Misses DVD. You know, it was Mick's last ECW match, so it has all of that appeal, but I think people talk more about, you know, it being Mick's last match in ECW than the actual match itself, which is a shame, because it is so good. It is a worthy inclusion. It is in the top 5 matches of ECW of all time for me, and like I said, it is up there for Mick Foley, you know, all-time performances as far as I'm concerned. So of course you can check this match out on the WWE Network. It could be on Peacock, but like I said, if you're a physical media person, Mick Foley's Greatest Hits and Misses, it is on that DVD. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you don't miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.